everybody, and a very warm welcome to One Hub Racing Season 24, the penultimate round of the P1 tier. And we can't win the title tonight, but we still got some great action as we head to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve for the Canadian Grand Prix. A circuit with, I have to say, very huge heritage, and one of my favourite Grand Prix to watch in real life, especially Button's unlikely victory in 2011, where it was played by safety car stints, red flag periods. It had the longest Formula 1 race on record, lasting over 4 hours, and the race winner wasn't decided until the last minute, and there was a lot of heavy rain, and Jenson Button was able to do that. So, very, very good. It dates all back to 1967 with Formula 1 around Canada. It was held at Mossport Park for 8 races, Circuit Mont Tremblant for 2 races, and then it was Circuit Gilles Villeneuve back in the 1970s. Quite a few changes, obviously, to the circuit due to safety reasons as well, and it's been held almost every year since 1978, with just 2 exceptions. In 1987, the race was cancelled due to sponsorship dispute, and in 2009, it was on the provisional calendar, and it was dropped when it was merged. So quite a few changes on the calendar. I just have to explain to the tier coordinator that he's usually late due to work. So, yeah, I've just told him that so he knows about that. But last week, I wasn't here. I'm your commentator, Jess Ball, by the way. I wasn't here last week because my internet decided to have a little bit of a hissy fit. The power adapter which was there for about 6 years. It just had enough. So I got new ones the next day, so we should be all good. But last week it was around Baku, and we had quite a bit of chaos, but we had some great racing. It was a sprint race, and Samba took the win in both the sprint and at the feature race, which does close the championship even slightly. It basically a few points separating between Aiden and Samba. 194 points to Samba's 191. Ben's still in there in 3rd place on 184 points. Linked in 4th on 97. Bryn Evans in 5th on 90. And we've got George in 6th on 74. Jaco in 7th on 70. Colin in 8th on 63. So he's still hanging in there. He got a good result in Baku last week, but he's hoping for one tonight. Larky did not have a good result either last week. He DNF'd, but he's still in 9th on 55 points. Matta in 10th on 51. Then we got Casper in 11th place. Unfortunately, Nate Clark has left the league, so that will promote in down Nick down in 40. Blind, then Lakitu, Konzo, Arnold, Leroy, Michelle, who's not here, and a few other drivers there as well. So that is your driver standings. Your constructor standings look like this. So AlphaTauri leading by 20 points over Ferrari. Then we got Williams in 3rd, Alfa Romeo in 4th, Alpine in 5th, Mercedes in 6th, Haas in 7th, McLaren in 8th, Red Bull 9th, and Aston Martin in dead last place. So those are your standings to worry about here. And the next thing I'm going to say is engine penalties. Now, for those of you that don't know about engine penalties, it's a thing that we have at One Hub Racing where everyone has an engine which lasts around about 370 laps, and they have to take an engine penalty at least once per season. And we've got one driver who's taking it tonight, and that is Blind. So what Blind will need to do is do an installation lap to save his setup, and then he will return to the pit and retire the car. He doesn't have to go on the soft tyres. He can choose to go on the intermediate tyres if he wanted to, but you won't be allowed to set a lap time. I think most people in P1 have done their engine penalties anyway. I think there's only a few people that have done it, but just to let you know, Blind has done it as well. And whilst we wait for the main action to begin, because people will be on their out laps right now, so I think it'll be a great opportunity to do this, is if I get the screen open, is to go through our sponsors. So, Next Level Racing sponsors the league by providing some lovely prizes, including a Next Level Racing FGT cockpit for any of the Drivers' Champions. The top 3 of each tier will be in a chance to win an FGT Light cockpit and a wheel stand 2.0. Also, to Aztec Sim Sports, one of our sponsors, are providing some merch to some lucky winners of I think it's the most combined poles and fastest laps. Then we got Pure Sim Gear, that's providing socks for the One Hub Racing Driver. It's one of the, I know it. Aztec is One Hub Racing Driver rankings. Pure Sim Gear is the poles and fastest laps. Then we got our partners, Best Routine, that support our championship apparel. ERT, that partner the ERT Go and Gets Tough awards and sponsor our league trophies. And to SingGrid, powered at SingGrid, they provide the community and platform. So let's go on board with Ben Mills as he starts his lap around this lovely circuit. Past turn 3. Heading in towards turn 4, very, very tight, medium speed left-hander. Then it's going to be a fast ramp pass into turn 5. This catches you out once you go into 5th gear, as you now go into turn 6 and 7, which can be taken in 7th gear. Keep the car as straight as possible. Watch for the wall as you pass there as well. There's a few people that cut the corner there. Watch out for the wall next to turn 8. Which he does. He's going to get a lovely tow from the Haas car, but let's hope the Haas car does not block him. He does not block him, so that's absolutely fine. Past the hairpin in towards turn 10, downshift to 3rd gear, clipping the apex and staying close to the inside curb. Now heading towards another DRS straight. That is where you're going to be really putting in all the power. We're going to see a lot of overtake. Expect some people to run compromised setups to cope with the corners and the straight line speed. As George has got a quali ban, I believe. That's why he's retired the car. As Ben Mills up to the line, and he goes faster with a 109.5. And joining me in the commentary box for the first time in the world, because we were both not here last week, is Max. And Max, first of all, how was your week off?
It was good, actually. A good time to maybe just detox and de-stress. But yeah, we're back. Penultimate round of the season. It's surely going to be a good one around Canada this evening. And I think qualifying is already underway by what I've been tuning into. So how's it going so far, Jess?
Well, the only person that set a lap was Ben Mills. Was the only one that set a lap. I can't seem to get you in at the moment. For some weird reason.
Oh, no,
it might be EA having one of those very weird things at the moment. So we may have to wait until P2 has finished their race in order to do so as well. But interesting thing about this one as well, because we got the adaptive weather system. We now know what the weather's going to be like next week, because this week is completely dry, which means, Matt, we're going to get a wet Abu Dhabi.
Oh, wow. Well, that's gonna throw things up in the air if we still have a championship fight going down to that. Of course, Aiden can win it this evening, but yeah, if we still have the championship battle,
he can't win it this evening because of the sprint race.
Can he not?
No, he can't win it.
I thought he could.
The gap needs to be 35 points going into the next round. 35 or 37, I don't know.
Yeah, because Thingy put the permutations in the chat.
That doesn't mean they won the championship. It only means a certain amount of people is eliminated.
Oh no! If Aiden wins with fastest lap, he can't lose the championship lead.
Yeah, they can't use the championship lead, but they can't win a title at this point.
Okay, yeah, I understand now. Sorry about that, everyone.
No, that's absolutely fine. No, this is like the second season you've been able to see the permutations as well. So we've got Ben Mills, fastest at the moment with a 1.9.5. There's Colin Mason with a 1.10.4. Only a few people have set lap time, so people are choosing to come in a bit later, or people have invalidated. Now, one thing to watch out for, as I found out in my race, which I benefited a lot from, is penalties. Expect a lot of people to get penalties around this track, and if you do not get penalties, expect to jump up the order if you get like a late safety car or anything like that, or even if you've got drivers around you which you're about to fight. And we know for some people in practice earlier, it's hard for them to not exceed track limits. So it's going to be interesting. We're running on board with Samba, who did a dominant showing last time out in Baku. He started near the back of the grid in the sprint race, came to win it. So he's on fine form going into this, and only a few points behind Aiden.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how everything plays out here around Canada, of course, as you said. Nathan Samba still in the title fight. that was my mistake earlier. But yeah, he's still in the title fight, and we're going to have a title fight that goes all the way down to a wet Abu Dhabi. No one has experienced that, you would think, in this tier, unless they've done it as a goofy little 5-lapper with some of their friends. So no one's really got experience for that. They're going to have to practice really hard during this week in between. So we'll have to wait and see how that plays out. But for Canada, it's such a tricky circuit. And for Nathan Samba, if he can hook this one up, that we know he can around tricky tracks, then he certainly can either narrow down that championship lead to Aiden, or even try overtake him in the championship and have that advantage going down into Abu Dhabi. So this qualifying is very crucial. It's one of the easiest street circuits to overtake around is Canada, but still, it is super tricky to fight your way up from a poor qualifying place. And Colin has just got me into the session, so thank you very much, Colin.
That's because I gave him a cheeky mention when he was in the pits to tell him to invite you. So you're welcome. And can you sort out tabs, please? Thank you. Which I've sent you the information for. But Nathan Samba just came across in fastest, and Arnold in third place. That is very impressive from Arnold. But look at the gap between Samba and Ben Mills, about a few tenths per second, and then a few tenths per second between Ben Mills and Arnold. This is going to be, I think, we thought the gaps were going to be close due to the fact that it's a short circuit, but we've been proven wrong here tonight from these drivers. I know when I was racing in P3 earlier, the ones who qualified, we were around about 9 tenths per second separating all of us. It's around about, I'll check the gap now. The gap is 1.9 seconds between first and 8th place. That is huge for a track like this.
Yeah, I mean, it is a short lap, but it's a very technical circuit at best. You've got many of the chicanes, of course. You've got that first sector, which is the most technical out of the whole circuit. And that is really where a lot of time can be won or lost. Within the space of a traction zone, or even just turning the car into one of the corners, just going a little bit wide from the apex, can really affect your run. So even though it's a short lap, drivers somewhat expect there to be bigger gaps than you would see around set from circuits like Monaco or your Austrias, where yes, Monaco's technical, but it's so short and there's pretty much one line around the circuit that it's very easy for everyone to be close together. Unlike Canada, where you can take multiple lines, of course, some drivers might be a bit more cautious in trying not to invalidate their lap times and overall getting a lap time on the board, so that might be while they're slower. But still, plenty of time left in this session, 8 minutes and 35 left to go. So drivers can still find that lap time. Larkin, I think, is coming up to the line now. Actually, no, he's starting a lap. That was a Mercedes, sorry, of Colin starting his second run of qualifying. Aiden's still in the pits here, though, Jess. This is a bit of an unusual one here. Maybe saving a set of the softs for the Grand Prix. Or
is he doing a last to first? I'm not entirely sure at this point. And can you just check? Have you got the message I sent you like 20 minutes ago?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I just need to...
I'll let you sort that out whilst I take you on board Larkin's lap. How does that sound?
Yeah, that sounds good.
That is good as well. We'll go through our pre-race interviews in just a minute once we have a quiet moment. But Larkin's been here and there this season. There's been some really decent results for the Alpine driver. But for some races, he was very unlucky, like last week. But he did get some points in the sprint. So for most races, he managed to score a point as he comes across the line in P6, 1.1 seconds off the pace. Lakitu. Now, Lakitu has done very well in some leagues I commentate on as well. Can he continue his form? He's currently sitting in 17th in the championship. He was another one who DNF'd last week, but he had a fantastic sprint race. What could he do here as he exits the wall of champions? I hope not many champions will win that tonight. Lakitu is a champion, believe it or not, as he goes up to the line cross the line in P5. He has experience in other leagues around there, so it should be interesting. Then 2 others with second separating between him and Nathan Samba. I'm very, very excited to see that one. Bryn wasn't here last time out in a Baku, so it's his first race back, so it'll be interesting to see how he does around this circuit. Let's have a look at these drivers' pre-race interviews as well. And Ben, and there was a few people that were asked about the track. Bryn has hit the wall. Bryn has hit the wall of champions, and the barrier's completely gone. That's going to catch a lot of people out. And even though he's 11th at the moment, that is that's an invalidation because he hit the wall. That is a huge shame, but Ben says the track, he's enjoyed the track, but the racing isn't great. George saying blah, which is interesting. J. Cole says he loves the track. Samba says it's not his favourite and not the best for racing. Aiden said it's one of the better tracks, another strong one for him. However, we know how that went in Monza. What a game. And Casper says he likes it more and more nowadays, even though he unfortunately got screwed in a race I was commentating on Thursday. So kind of a mixed bag. You either love it or you hate it.
Yeah, Canada's a circuit where you really got to have a feel for the track and confidence in the car, really. It's, of course, a track where you're on the limit all the time, and it's, as I say, very technical. Some of these corners are very, very challenging for drivers with certain driving characteristics. If you prefer longer corners, you don't really get that too much around Canada, so that can really halt down your progress. That it's mainly a bunch of short left-rights or into some quick S sections around this circuit, so that could hold back some of these drivers. But yeah, you really just got to have a feel for the track and car around here. You've got to be confident. You've got to be on the ball. And overall, especially into that World Champion chicane, you've got to be on the absolute limit because you have to hit that chicane absolutely perfectly, take the right amount of curb, right amount of speed to maximise as much as you possibly can. But we'll have to wait and see how these drivers do. Nathan Samba's still at the top, obviously, for now. Telemetry, I have sorted out for you, Jess. I don't know if you've got it up or
I've
not.
sent you the link to the dashboard. It is working. So thank you very much.
No worries. But yeah,
so I can't see who's
Aiden's still in the
purple
pit
where,
lane.
which is annoying. So that will be that because it only show who's purple out of the final few laps. So which is a shame. But that is unfortunate timing because obviously Max has work just before this as well. So obviously nothing can be done with that. It's out of our control, unfortunately. But as you were saying, Max, carry on before I rudely interrupted you.
Oh, it's fine, Jess. I was just saying, I'm surprised Aiden's still in the pit lane, especially knowing that he is in the championship fight. I think maybe leaving it too late, invalidating your lap time. I have said it's easy to overtake round here, but making your way through a pack where it's very technical. We know how Aiden has sometimes been caught up in actual pack action and maybe got a bit of damage or just in an unfortunate incident so far this season, as he said in Monza, where he did get caught up in one. It just really surprises me he's risking it with this one-shot attempt because he could invalidate his run, start 15th on the grid, have to do a last to first, where your championship rivals are first and second. So for Aiden, I feel like this is a really risky game he's playing, but for his sake, I hope it does work out well for him and he at least gets up into that top 4 at the very, very least. And now he's coming out, so he is doing a one-shot qualifying.
One-shot qualifying. Now, this track is a track I hate doing one-shot qualifying because there's few points in the lap where you got to nail it. Turn 8 as well, very tight. The hairpin, and also the final chicane just before the Wall of Champions. You've got to nail a perfect line. If you don't, that is where you lose all the time in qualifying. And I think that is why for some people the times are this close. Look at the times from P3 all the way down to P7. It is almighty close. And Nathan Samba has retired from the session. And that is in the pit lane. So he's decided enough's enough. He thinks a 109.2 is safe, as Colin, by the way, goes third fastest. That is a decent lap from Cole. He would be very, very happy with that if that was him, if I was in a party with him. I was in a party with him last week on my phone on 4G data. I would never do that. I would never be in a party with 4G data again because it always cuts off for some reason. But impressive lap time for Cole. But for everybody else, it's time for their final runs, and it is calm before the storm. Can anyone beat our top 2? I think the only man that can is our championship leader, but can anyone spring a surprise, Max?
We could maybe see the likes of Colin spring a surprise, of course Aiden as well. It's not all set in stone for Nathan Samba, because if Aiden nails this lap, if he's that confident around this circuit and absolutely nails it out the park, a home run, then we certainly could see him snatch pole position away. He will be the first driver on these final runs to get us underway. So here we go then with the AlphaTauri man, the man leading your championship in this, the penultimate round of the season. This could be a crucial qualifying for Aiden. It is a one-shot, one attempt, One hit. Will it be a goal or will it be a miss? We'll have to wait and see. Through turn 2 now for Aiden. Up to 4th gear now as you exit the corner and head into turns 3 and 4. Clip that first curve nicely. Kept it within track limits well, using all the track he possibly can on corner exit 2. Now heading in to turn number 7. Flick it through the left and then the right of 8. Get straight back on the power. Open up the DRS for the first time properly on your lap as you then brake as you just get underneath the bridge, down through 9 and 10, and then you lead yourself up into the ever tricky turn 11 hairpin. A lot of natural understeer through here, so you've got to be late on the brakes. Make sure you get the car rotated into the first part and then run the car all the way out to the wall on the second. Then through turn 12, that little flick left, and this is now your run down into the wall of champion chicane. Keep it as tight to that inside and then fling it back over to the left once you pass that Aramco sponsoring, and in that 100 meters. Downshift to 5th gear. Use all the curb you possibly can. That wasn't the most committed from Aiden I just saw there. Not too much curb being used. Not a lot of the trap being used. And it's only good enough for 3rd place. And then his teammate Bryn shuffles him down into 3rd. So Alpha Tauri at the moment 3 and 4, but the wrong way round from what they would have wanted. Lakitu up into 3rd place. Now he beats your championship leader too. That's a brilliant lap from Lakitu. Casper up to the line. He goes up into 6th place. Larkin, J. Cole's now coming through the final chicane. Now that was a lot more committed than what we saw Aiden do. Lynx and Colin not able to go again. J. Cole up into 10th place. He demotes his teammate out of the top 10. Matters now coming up to the line. He's up by 2.5 tenths in that middle sector. It'll be DRS open for the Williams man as he heads up the line. Can he bump himself into that top 10? No, just can't. By 1/100th of a second there for Mata. He starts in 11th. Konzo now heading up into the line. He's not set a lap time either, just like Aiden. Where's he going to go? He goes up into 9th place, a 10.0. We still have Arnaud to go, and I think it is just Arnaud left to set a lap time in this session. So, and Larkin, sorry. So it's Larkin and Arnaud. Larkin up to the line. He does not improve, so he starts 13th and slowest of our time drivers so far. And it's all down to Arnaud. Can he upset somebody? Can he maybe even join his teammate on that second row of the grid? Let's see as he now heads into the pit lane. No, he cannot. He's only going to start the best of P8. But it's Nathan Samba from Ben Mills. And then a big shock in 3rd. It is Lakitu with his best qualifying performance of the season.
Lakitu, I did say to watch for Lakitu. He's been on fine form in other leagues and it's continuing here as well. And with certain drivers not here today, that has opened up so many doors for certain drivers. And I will have to say, bring it on as well. The championship can't be won tonight. We will go through the permutations in our little break. That's why we went through the sponsors at the start, so you have a little bit more of an idea. But we are just waiting for Casper to retire in the pit lane, and then we could get underway. But it's 2 more numbers of a second separating the top 2. They saved the Seb soft tyres. They didn't need to go out again. And I had a feeling it was the right decision for them. But if there was people around near the likes of Lakitu, it probably would have been the wrong decision for them to retire from the session. But for Samba and Ben, that was a decision that really helped them in the long run. So, going through your results then for qualifying, it is Nathan Samba out there on top with Ben Mills in 2nd, Lakitu in 3rd, Bryn in 4th, Aiden 5th, Casper 6th, Colin in 7th, Arnaud in 8th, then we got Konzo, Lynx, Jaco, Mata, Larkin, your finishers, your qualifiers, sorry. And then we have George that's got a quali ban due to last week because he retired on track and he caused an incident with Nick. And obviously Blind, who is taking his engine penalty. So the top 10, Max, separated by less than a second. Pretty good stuff.
Yeah, it is pretty good stuff with a very close qualifying. And yeah, hopefully we can transfer that into the race. It's of course going to be a dry race, so we know that Abu Dhabi is going to be wet next time out. And I'm actually really excited to see Abu Dhabi in the wet. I don't know if you are, Jess. I know it's next race and we've still got this one to go, but that's still something really exciting to look for because apparently Abu Dhabi can be quite a mess in the wet weather. So we could maybe see some few surprises here, there and there. Maybe even the Lakitu or someone like that. Someone who's not got a podium or a win this season. Go on up there and maybe win the Grand Prix in a wet Abu Dhabi. We'll have to wait and see. But strategy, that is going to be the oh so important thing. Is it going to be a soft, medium, soft, a medium, soft, soft, or are you going to do a double medium stint? We don't know what these drivers will do. It'll probably be best to get those soft tyres out the way early, I would say. They don't really last long around Canada, so I will be saying a lot of these drivers will be on the softs at first, then go on to a medium stint and try extend that for a late soft stint, but we'll have to wait and see. For these drivers, I think it's 36 laps of racing in front of us, and
yes.
it's going to be a long
35.
one. 35, sorry. I think it was 36 on last game or something, but still a long way of racing in front of us. So these drivers, it's going to be a long challenge mentally on them, and they've got to hit every apex perfectly. So for the likes of your championship rivals, Aiden and Nathan, they've got to be on the limit and on their A game for the 35 laps and take us away for this race start, Jess.
Here we go. The penultimate round of season 24 is a go. And looks like Samba's got the best start out of anyone in towards turn number 1. Lakitu and Bryn side by side. Bryn has had an almighty start as he passes down the inside of Lakitu up into third place. Aiden trying to do the same, but there's a bit of contact in the background. There's a few people losing a bit of ground. Matta and George having some issues, but apart from that, everyone seems to make their way cleanly with no damage. Samba pulling away by 4/10 of a second, but we've got the two for AlphaTauri hanging in there. Don't forget they're still fighting for the Constructors' Championship, so I wonder if they're going to be working together or fighting for themselves here. They've got to be working together because Bryn is out of the championship. Aiden is still in this championship, but Nathan Samba, then it's Ben, Bryn, Aiden, Lakitu, Casper, Colin, then Arnold, Leaks, and then Konzo, your top 10. Still lying astern. And I have to say, Samba got the start that he was looking for here to keep his winning hopes alive. As we've got some battles happening in the midfield, Max.
Yeah, brilliant start there from Nathan Samba. J. Cole battling with Blind over 11th place in this Grand Prix. And it seems that J. Cole coming out on top. He's now getting closer to Konzo in that McLaren, but not able to get close enough for a move into the World of Champions chicane. But of course, further up, you've got Nathan Samba leading Ben Mills. This is actually one of the more poorer starts from Nathan Samba if you look at gap-wise, as J. Cole's able to get past Konzo to the inside into turn 1. But gap-wise, usually Nathan Samba's around about 7 tenths clear by now. He's only 4 tenths clear of Ben Mills so far. So for Nathan Samba, it's not really been the start he would have hoped for in the gap sense, but still, keeping that lead is exactly what he wanted to do. I say about the gap, Ben Mills makes a mistake, heading through turn 7, and that could allow Bryn to now maybe attack into turn 9 and 10, and that gap opens up at the front. So Nathan Samba now exactly where he would have expected to be at the start of this Grand Prix. Lap 2 of 35, Nathan Samba leading the way still, but Bryn is all over the back of that Williams car in front. Mercedes power versus Honda power, and of course Larkin now getting overtaken by overtaking Konzo. This has been a disastrous race start for the McLaren, the lone McLaren, down in 13th place now.
Yeah, Konzo, he just doesn't seem to be fitting on the pace currently compared to everybody, so it might be due to his setup at the moment. But we got Ben, who's just picked up the first penalty, and he only took 3 laps. So don't be surprised to see more coming out within the next. And look, I've just seen the Tads going crazy because there's been a lot of warnings. Colin has picked up 1 warning. J. Cole's got 1 warning. Blind has got 1 warning. Konzo's got 1 warning. Most people have only got 1 warning except Ben Mills, who's obviously got that penalty. So Ben is definitely pushing to the limit, and because of that mistake, that's not going to help him one bit whatsoever, and the gap's already 1.2 seconds. So his main focus now is the 2 AlphaTauris. They know what they got to do. We've got Bryn versus Aiden. We saw what they did in Jeddah. They're probably going to be doing very similar to what we've seen in Jeddah here in Canada, but they're going to lose out due to the double stack. So if I were them, maybe potentially, I would get one of them to pit 1 lap and then one to pit the next lap, because they're all both starting on the soft compounded tyres. And then we got Lakitu and Casper on the medium compounded tyres. Aiden's going to try and go for the move on Bryn to the inside of the straight, and he's got the DRS. They're going to be DRSing each other. Aiden's going to get past Ben into the chicane. And they both make a mistake. They both make a mistake, and they hit the wall of champions. And we got a VSC, Max. And Aiden's got damage, 20% on the front right.
Oh, well, I think that was more all on Ben Mills there. What was he doing? He just somewhat like didn't acknowledge Aiden existed into that corner. He just turned into him and acted like he was taking the corner normally. I feel so sorry for Aiden there. He's just an innocent bystander and all of that. And Ben Mills, I have no clue what that was. That was, if he was just angry that Aiden was overtaking him with the DRS or what. It just seemed like a really uncharacteristic mistake there. We go back racing once again, and now J. Cole's all over the back of Lynx as we head into turns 9 and 10. The Alpine not able to get past the Sauber in front. But Ben Mills has lost his whole front wing now. He's cost himself probably the race, and is now out of contention probably for the championship as well. So I have no idea what that was. And it's just made his race go from bad to worse, and we're only on lap 4 of 35, so there was no need for any desperate actions just yet. But I'm still so confused. But Nathan Samber's probably licking his lips now at that incident, because he is now going to be miles out in front of his 2 championship rivals.
It literally could be a 2-horse race, but because obviously due to the sprint race and how the top 3 is so close, that will mean that it will still go to the final race regardless, but that will mean that Ben will have to win the sprint in order to keep his championship hopes alive and also win the feature. And that is no means feat, and both Ben and Aiden are having front wing damages repaired, so that is going to be very, very tough for those two, but at least it gets their stops out of the way. And if tradition dictates from the other tiers, expect the first pit stops from some people to happen at the end of this lap, because the undercut, as we were saying earlier, is very powerful around this track. If you stay out for a moment longer, you're going to be in a spot of bother. So I think Samba and Brim will potentially pit this lap or even next lap. Samba can pit when he wants, as Blind goes for a move on J. Cole. Can J. Cole answer to Blind's attack on the start of this race? DRS is enabled. Casper trying to do exactly the same thing on Lakitu, and he just get past. So Casper up to 3rd. J. Cole is up to 7th place, and that DRS is really starting to get to effect. No drivers are coming into the pits yet, so they're going to leave 2 more laps before they come in eventually. They're going to be keeping an eye on their tyres just to be sure on what's happening at the moment. I have to say, the people that are doing the best on their tyres are the ones on the medians, but Blind's going to come back round the outside towards turn 2, and he is going to be on a mission to take revenge on Jacob, which turn number 4. This was very brave if he got it done. That was fantastic from Blind. Don't forget he has an engine penalty, and he's all the way up into 7th. That is a good result for him so far.
What a move from Blind there to go round the outside of J. Cole into turn 3. Super opportunistic to do, and he's took that position right from J. Cole's hands, but a big slide out of turn 10. That could have caused everything to go wrong and all that hard work to be undone. As you can see, he's trying to catch up to this train now of Arnaud, Lynx, Lakitu and Casper. This is over the final podium paying position, so this could maybe see the likes of Lakitu, Casper pick up their first podiums of the season, or maybe Lynx score another one. Of course, he scored in Monza and Mexico, did the Sauber driver, and now if he could score in Canada as well, another podium, that'll be amazing for him, and he's got a better run now than Lynx. Lakitu.
Blind had a slide.
Oh, Blind is in good position at the moment. J. Cole's half a second back. For me, I just think J. Cole's gone too much downforce on his car. He's got no straight line speed at all. I saw heading down that main straight just the last lap when Blind went for the move into turn 3 that J. Cole was, even with the DRS, was just hemorrhaging time down that straight, and unfortunately for him, I think that is going to hinder him a lot. He just really needs a late safety car to fight his way back through at the end of this Grand Prix, I would think. But the key 2 further up, still under pressure from Lynx, but he's trying to put pressure on Casper in 3rd place. But for Nathan Samba out in front, it is just a Sunday drive now to him, or maybe even just qualifying lap after qualifying lap. He's got no real worries. Bryn 3 seconds behind, and he's just got an open road in front of him. So for Nathan Samba, this is exactly what you want when you're in a championship battle. Your 2 championship rivals down in the bottom 2 places, as the Lakitu is able to get past Casper with a DRS, heading into the final chicane, the Wall of Champions. But Casper could get a better run here, and Lynx into the pit lane off these softs. And we have a VSC.
Oh no, Blind! That was harsh.
Oh, he sped into the pit lane.
Oh, so if you speed into the pit lane in a VSC, you get a drive-through.
Yeah.
That doesn't give you that much time. Now, that's cruel from the game, to be honest.
Oh, and guess who brought out the VSC?
Was it Ben
It was a disaster. It's another one for Ben Mills. No front wing again.
And he has to come into the pits. I think he has to go onto the hard tyres, but that won't get to the end. So unfortunately, his hopes are starting to fade away with this championship. He's currently sitting in third in the championship. He's around about, let me do the math, 194, 10 points behind Aiden. And he's around about 7 or 8 points behind Samba. So unless that turned into a safety car, he's pretty much screwed at this point. And I don't see a yellow dot, which means it's still a VSC. And that's going to neutralise the field. But this is great news for if you haven't pitted yet. If you have not pitted... Bryn's got a drive-through for speeding on the VSC. Now, we talked about the likes of Blind getting a drive-through for speeding on the VSC. Bryn got the same thing. I was going to say it would have been perfect for the drivers to come into the pits. But for Bryn, this is disaster. And this is also disaster for the potential constructors because the nearest rivals are only about 20 points behind. But we know how much they can gain around this track and in the sprint format next week. But Bryn, unfortunately, will have to serve his drive-through, which will put him to the back of the grid, Max.
Oh, that is disaster for AlphaTauri. Not only is it Aiden, it's now Bryn as well. And Nathan Samba is certainly just... I reckon he's got a massive grin in the cockpit of that Scarlet Red Ferrari because all these rivals are just crashing out or getting penalties and just making mistakes when they don't need to. So for Nathan Samba, at the moment, he really is just having a Sunday cruise up at the front. He's got no pressure from behind, the key to 4.3 seconds behind. And the likes of Aiden and also Bryn are already well over a pit stop behind. And Bryn still has to make 2 pit stops. So that pretty much rules Bryn out of it, unless there's a safety car in this one, which still certainly could happen. This circuit is very, very notorious for safety cars, and it's also very notorious from rain. So I'm surprised we didn't actually get the rain option for this evening. But we see Casper going to go for a move on the key 2. He's able to get back past the Aston Martin. J. Cole picks up a 3-second time penalty as well. And for Casper, he's now 4 seconds behind Nathan Samba. I think this is going to be certainly Nathan Samba's to lose as Larkins into the pit lane, links passes Bryn, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see Bryn come into the pit lane for a fresh set of mediums within the next few laps. Blind also got past Colin there. He's still got his drive-through penalty in his Haas, but we'll have to wait and see how that plays out for him as Larkin, as I say, is in the pit lane. But Nathan Samba still just cruising out in front, but Casper is closing down that gap. It's now 3.6 seconds, so maybe, just maybe, that Ferrari, those soft tyres have started to die, and those medium tyres are now working on the likes of Casper, as are now looking for a move on his teammate, the Keto, not able to get it done, and has to sit in 4th place on lap 10 of 35.
I have to say, Casper hasn't even reached 20% on the tyres, and if you're around about 0 to 20% on the tyres, it's good on the front. The front are absolutely cooking for Casper. The rear, he's struggling a little bit, but it's definitely much better than Samba. So if I was Samba, I would come into the pits now, because otherwise you're going to lose so much time on those soft tyres, and he's going to come into the pits as I said that. Or anyone else jump the gun and come in as well. Casper rightfully stayed out, which I was expecting him to do as well, and everyone else on the mediums stayed out as well. I would expect Bryn to come in this lap, but he's under pressure from Lynx, as Lynx sends an audacious move in towards the final corner, but they both come into the pits anyway. So I don't know why they were trying to launch. I think they were both trying to get ahead of each other in the pit lane. So Samba goes out of the pit lane, and they got to be careful that they stick to the white line coming out of the pit lane. If they don't, they will get a time penalty. That's what they said in the steward's room. So we'll be keeping a close eye on that on the stream, and I'm sure the drivers will be as well. I hope not. I hope we're not going to be like the pit stop police or something like that. But Samba still leads. He's a net race leader at the moment, so he's kept a decent gap as well. And don't forget, we had a few other people that pitted. Colin pitted quite early, I believe, as well. So he's in the next second, but he will have to stop again. This is shaping up to be a great race in terms of strategy, and obviously, Samuel, I think, has it in the bag, but obviously with people getting time penalties, it could change things. But I'm impressed with not many people getting time penalties. They're just keeping it clean out there, as we're seeing Casper, the early runner, to pit onto another set of memes, it looks like. He's going very early.
Yeah, that is very, very early there from Casper to come in at this stage in the Grand Prix. It's onto a set of the mediums, as you did predict there, Jess. So we'll see where he comes out in relation to Nathan Sam, but the gap was around about 4 seconds when Nathan came into the pit lane as he now exits, cutting across turn 1, obviously, and you exit on the outside of turn 2. I would say it's about 4-5 seconds between Nathan and Casper there. So Nathan has got the undercut advantage. He has worked this one out well. But as you say, penalties could still play a big role in this race. Aiden is now up into 6th place. He's on 7-lap old mediums compared to, of course, Matter on 4 and Casper on 0-lap old mediums as he's just come out the pit lanes. But for Casper, he's come out in a bit of traffic here on older tyres, which could slow them down quite a bit. And I feel like for Casper, he boxed too late. He should have maybe even extended a little bit and tried to slot out in that gap between the Williams and the Alpine that tiny bit better. But now, as you can see, he'll have the DRS on the Williams man in front. Lakitu inherits the race lead after getting past Arnold, who goes into the pit lane. Nathan Samba gets past Lynx, and here comes Casper, not only on Matter, but also on Aiden as well. To the inside goes the Haas, 2 in 1, and that just shows the benefit of the DRS and the ERS, and also those fresher tyres, giving him that launch out of the hairpin.
But I have to say, he was saying in the pre-race interviews he was not happy with where he was in terms of the championship, but he didn't put that much practice needed. He's done a few races around this track this week, and he's been liking it more and more, like we were saying earlier. So it will be interesting to see what happens with him later on as well. He just got to keep his composure because, obviously, again, penalties can come into play as well, but he's doing a very good job so far, and he's on the fresher rubber, so surely he's going to try and get past Colin sooner rather than later, because we've got the major championship protagonist, apart from Samba, is struggling, so that will allow the people that you weren't expecting to be up there get their best results of the season, and they just got to keep it clean out there. And I should assume Lakitu will come in. Brim picks up another penalty. His day's just gone from bad to worse, but a safety car will bring him back in it. But Lakitu comes in, and he's going to... I wonder where he's going to come out in relation to Casper. Casper making his way towards the back straight now. Lakitu also goes on to the medium tyres, which just promotes Samba to the overall race lead. Everyone has done their first stops. It's now an interesting thought to find out who's going to make their next stop first.
Yeah, Lynx has actually got a very interesting undercut here. He's only on 3-lap older tyres than Nathan Samba. Of course, that's going to play dividends come the end of the stint, but he really has worked this one well. So we can maybe see Lynx try and stick with Nathan Samba all the way to that pit stop window. And then, of course, I think they might go back to a set of the softs or onto another set of the medium tyres at that point. But we'll have to wait and see. It's Bryn's into the pit lane, and so is George as well. But for Lynx, he's done a really nice undercut here. He can certainly still get a top 3 finish. As there we see in the background, Casper versus Colin. Casper to the outside line. Colin on those 10-lap old mediums. He'll get a very poor run out of the hairpin. Very slidey from the Mercedes. And there you see Casper just darts it around the outside and get up into 3rd place. He's now 6 seconds behind Lynx and a total of 8 seconds behind Nathan Samba up in the lead. Arnold gets past Matter. Lakitu gets past J. Cole. As you can see, everyone starting to get past drivers on their older tyres. Here comes Aiden and Colin as well. 1-lap tyre difference between the pair. And there goes Aiden up into 4th place. A good recovery drive from him as well. Started 5th, went down to 14th place. Now back up into 4th. And for Aiden, this has been a really good race for him because it's exactly what he needs to do. As Casper now picks up a 3-second time penalty, that could be crucial come the end of the race. And if no one else behind him picks up penalties, the likes of Aiden or Lynx in front, he might be able to fall off the podium here as Colin, overtaken by Arnold as well. I think doing 10 or 11 laps on your mediums here, Jess, that really shows when they start to hit the cliff. There's a yellow flag in the background, and that is for the Haas of Blind, who unfortunately has made a mistake through turn 9. I think that was a spin for the Haas driver.
Yeah, because he has got no damage, so it might be a bit of a tank slapper for him. And I'm just looking at Taz at the moment. It's hard to tell because he's got his telemetry disabled. So guess who's going to get some penalty points? Points deducted from the championship, which is unfortunate, but that's why we can't see if he's got any damage or not as well. Now, I'm looking at the ERS usage from the drivers at the moment. We've got Lakitu, who has got a decent amount. We've got J. Cole, who's burning quite a bit. And we've got the likes of Colin, who's got 73%. Colin is going in. Colin is going in early. I'm assuming he's going to go on to a set of the hard tyres. Because if he doesn't go on to a set of the hards, that won't get to the end. But hards will. So that's what he goes on to. That is an interesting strategy. There hasn't been any safety car yet. If there's no safety car, Colin's pretty much in a good place. But if there is a safety car, he's pretty much screwed. But he's going to have a potential huge undercut. But he had to come in, because otherwise he will lose that much time. Meanwhile, Arnold and Aiden having a little bit of a fight in at the background. Arnold covers off Aiden with the fresher tyres. I have to say, this is Arnold's best race this season. He is coming to life around Canada. And as I was saying, in quite a few races this season, Freshets, pretty much 3-lap-old mediums against 11-lap-old mediums, there was no contest.
Yeah, there really was no contest there between Arnold and Aiden. And you can see Aiden now really just starting to fall off the back. And it's only been one hairpin, and he's 6 tenths behind the Aston Martin in front. But he will gain some time back slightly through down that back straight. As you can see now, through the wall of champions, look at the launch Arnold would get over Aiden. He's already found too much time, actually. That's quite surprising to me. I keep saying Arnold's going to fly away, but he's not. Aiden's been keeping with him quite well. The Keytu's been just done a move there on Matter to move up into 6th place in this Grand Prix. A really nice move into turn 1 late on the brakes by the Aston Martin man. Aiden still not falling back as much as you would expect him to between the 4 laps and 12-lap-old mediums, but this technical middle and first sector is really where those 4-lap-old mediums will begin to shine. But this does show Aiden's pace in this Grand Prix. If he was on the same strategy as Nathan Samba, maybe expect him to be challenging the Ferrari driver, but unfortunately with that earlier incident with Ben Mills, wasn't able to show off his pace. But now you can really see how consistent he really is, and he's just dropped out of a second as we hit the DRS detection point.
Yeah, we're going to have this DRS detection point very, very soon, and we will see, I think, the guys like Lynx and Matt will come into the pits, I think, in about 3 laps time to do a very long stint on the mediums until the end. That's what potentially most people will do. Lead the longest stint till last to make sure they get the undercut, as Konzo goes for a move on J. Cole down the inside just before the wall of champions and up into P9. Beautiful stuff, by the way, from him. And interesting facts about this track in terms of drivers around it. In the P1 tier, the last winner around it was Samba when he was in the Aston Martin, and there was also another race winner who is on this grid. It's Casper, so not surprised to see Nathan Samba and Casper where they are. They both run around here on this track in one hub before, and they know what it takes to win. Of course, Casper just minding his own ability. He's got a penalty, whereas Lynx and Samba does not. Now let's get a quick update in terms of warnings. Now Lynx still got no warnings. That is very impressive. Everyone else has got at least 1 warning. Lynx does not. And Max, this is going to be an interesting predicament. If we get a safety car, Samba will be in trouble because Samba's on 2 warnings. Yeah,
that really could play and just pretty much be a screwball into the whole running of things, and we could maybe see Nathan Samba put under a lot of pressure from Lynx and cause him to pick up that penalty. It's the Keytu's to the inside of Aiden, but Aiden decides to dart into the pit lane just before the Keytu could get all the way past him. So Aiden now into the pits. He'll go onto a set of the hards, you would think. Bryn picks up a penalty. Someone else did as well. I didn't see who that was. But we'll see now. Aiden onto the hards. Lap 19 of 35. This race has gone by quite quickly, to be entirely honest.
Arnold penalty, turn 4.
Arnold penalty.
6 seconds.
Now, that really does spice up that battle for the podium, really, because they both had 3 seconds. Now Arnold has an extra 3 seconds on top of that. So if he's able to get past Casper and try to drive a fly away, he could maybe do that. But we know that Casper had some good race pace at the start of this Grand Prix on said mediums. He's going to try to hold out for the softs. It's the Haas driver. So maybe we'll see if Arnold gets past now and gets that 3 seconds. later on in this race, Casper on those softs can certainly hunt that gap back down as Colin Mason got past Blind there. And I think also Hayden was battling with Blind as well as Arnold to the outside of Casper. Easy move of the DRS. That is pretty much the trend so far this evening, isn't it, Jess? Just an easy DRS move down that back straight and you gain yourself the place. As Larkin all over the back of Mata. A bit of a mistake there. This could allow Konzo on those softs to maybe attack the Alpine in front. But no, Larkin with that better straight line speed, just able to stay ahead as Konzo's in an Alpine sandwich at the moment.
Yep, he is. He does not want to be in an Alpine sandwich. And I have to say, the Alpine's doing rubbish in real life, but they're doing good here as well, as Colin has dropped a few places, as Blind and Aiden have overtaken him as well. So his hards are not operating at the best position right now, whereas everyone is on the mediums, as Colin's going to try and dive it up the inside and turn 4. It's very risky. If Colin can make it, he's going to try and hold this line through turn 5 and 6. Colin does do it. Colin is up to 11th. Don't forget, he does not have to stop again. I will get you the stops on your screen. Aiden and Colin are fighting for position. So is Ben Mills, Bryn and George. Everyone else will need to stop again. So that is the stop situation. Reminder, 2-stop strategy at One Hub Racing. And if they don't do the 2 stops, they will be disqualified. We are also looking at fuel situation. We've had no safety car. And we know Casper is a big fan of underfueling. He's 0.59 under fuel, 0.59, so he's going to be in a bit of trouble if we have no safety car. Fair play to the drivers for keeping it clean. We had 2 VSCs so far, so people are saying, oh, the safety car's turned off. It's on because we had 2 VSCs. So Casper has got to be a bit conservative at this point. As soon as he gets past Arnold, that's where he's got to save at this point. He's got to do some huge fuel saving, otherwise he won't get to the end.
Yeah, Casper really needs to do some big fuel saving. Of course, we saw the fuel debacle. I know we keep mentioning it, but it was a massive point of last season in Qatar, the opening round. And yeah, that was involving J. Cole, who of course benefited off that. But oh, that's a spin there for Konzo in front of J. Cole. As I say, J. Cole benefited off of something. Konzo spins in front of J. Cole. Luckily for Konzo, and Bryn's out. What's happened to Bryn?
Safety car?
Oh. No, he's retired in the pit lane.
I was going to say, I thought that would have changed the complexity to the race, but he's giving up. And I believe he's out of championship contention anyway. Yeah, he's out of championship contention, but that's not going to help AlphaTauri in the Constructors' fight, but George is not going to score much points either. So, in a way, it's even Stevens. It's a fight between Samba and Aiden. So that's not good for AlphaTauri at all. We got some pitters. J. Cole is in for his final stop on the mediums. Konzo's going to have to go in on mediums as well. His soft stint, unfortunately, is not working out. And luckily, it was just a spin. No damage, I believe. Let me check. Has the Konzo got damage?
He didn't hit anything, so I don't think he would.
No, the last damage we saw was lap 13. So no one has got damage since then.
So yeah, lucky escape there for Konzo to not bin it into that wall or even overcorrect into the outside wall. But unfortunately, that pretty much has ruined his whole Grand Prix. He was on for a good result there, maybe into the top 8, top 9 he could have maybe seen. But yeah, really unfortunate there for Konzo. But those mistakes happen, and unfortunately, that has ruined his entire race. As we see Lynx now into the pit lane off those mediums. 14 laps he's done on those. Expecting another set of the mediums. Yes, he goes on to another set. I'm expecting the likes of Nathan Samba and the guys that started on the softs to do the same. Box a roundabout now, go on to another set of mediums and take them to the end of the Grand Prix. We'll have to wait and see, though. Lap 23 of 35 in a full course safety car free Grand Prix. I was not expecting that at all, Jess, especially with the carnage we can get here in P1.
I think 9 times out of 10, every time I've commentated on a Canadian Grand Prix race or even racing it, we've always had safety cars. 100%. There's a 100% chance of safety cars. That could all change with P1 tier, which is not good for people that are running closely to the running out of fuel range. So that could be an interesting predicament. But it will be a relief for drivers who are not having for a safety car because they will be able to stretch the gap a bit more. Because some people close on penalty, some people on 6 seconds. So, as it stands, as Casper, by the way, goes for a move on Arnold in towards the chicane, he goes and up into second, so they're fighting for it. But as it stands, Lakita will be on the cusp of getting P2 in this race.
That would be insane for Lakita. His best result of the season. And arguably, this is going to be his best drive so far, as J. Cole was able to get past Blind further back. 1 lap old mediums versus 15 lap old mediums. Of course, J. Cole will come out on top on that one, especially with those fresher tyres, and his teammate Larkin now going to try set up a move on the Haas driver as well. But Arnold, for the K2, he's in a very good place at the moment behind his teammate Arnold, just within DRS at the moment. But Arnold is starting to drop back slightly from Casper, so we can maybe see this second, third and fourth train split out slightly. They've got a good lap to matter as well, 10 seconds. But don't forget as well, Lynx is still with these guys. He's come in early off those mediums on those in that Alfa Romeo Sauber, and now he's all over the back of Mata as well. Here we go to the inside. No, he's just going to wait for that DRS, get a good exit. I feel like he should have really gone for the move there, but he's now able to get by with the better superior traction, and there goes the Sauber pass. So Williams up into 5th place. 10 seconds between him and the K2. So I think at the moment, that battle between Casper, Arnold and the K2 is all over that 3rd place. And at the moment, the K2 with the upper hand, having no penalties.
Yep, the K2 is on a great position, and the K2, I'm just going to have to check how many warnings he's got. 2. So he just got to, if I was him, try and run the cleanest race of your life with 11 laps to go. Blinds out, safety car.
Oh, Blind. Oh,
that is
so
a shame because he was doing so good. But that does breathe a sigh of relief for people like Casper, who was trying to save fuel. They can save fuel now. But this is good news for Lakito. This is good news for Lynx, Aiden, Larkin, and that's it. And Samba. Those are the only drivers who got no penalties to their name. If they could keep it clean, they can jump up and get a magnificent result. And this is also good news for Casper and Arnold, who's still yet to make their next stop. As Samba's got a drive-through!
It is not a day to be a championship protagonist here in P1 tier. Nathan Samba, the man who is looking to... No! Oh my... Oh no, Lakita and Nathan Samba.
That's handing the win to Lynx.
Oh, no, he's done it as well.
No way.
Oh my god, in the span of under 30 seconds, the top 3 in this Grand Prix have all got a drive-through penalty, and Aiden is now on course to try and maybe snatch a podium away from this one, if not the race win.
Aiden's going to win. I think Aiden's going to win this race. He is a lucky boy.
Who was all doom and gloom after an incident with his fellow championship rival Ben Mills on lap 4 of the Grand Prix, has now got the brilliant opportunity to win this race. Samba, the K2, Lynx within the span of 30 seconds all picked up a drive-through penalty. They're going to have to serve that. They can't challenge it in the steward's inquiry room because they have to serve it. And that means Aiden.
That is cruel. I have to say, I feel so bad for them. I've never seen a situation where if you speed in the pit lane under a VSC, after a safety car, you get a drive-through around here. I have to say, that's bonkers.
But on a day when Nathan Samba could have at least...
He could have let the championship.
That points deficit, at the very least, slice that points deficit down to minimal points, or even lead the championship. It has now been blown wide open, and Aiden could now have one hand on that championship trophy heading in to a wet and wild Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. He is going to be licking his lips.
Right, we are back live. Apologies for the technical difficulties. For some reason, the game decided to be the game and my OBS crashed as well and it went absolutely haywire. But you didn't miss much because we're still under safety car conditions. You got myself and Max in the commentary box and the safety car is in this lap. Hopefully the stream didn't end. Hopefully you guys...
It didn't.
Oh, good. Oh, good. That is all good.
I did go and check it just in case, but yeah, we did see the
Good job I didn't put it on auto start then. Auto finish then. But anyway, safety cars in this lap. And for those of you that just joined us, multiple people, including Samba, Lynx, and the Kitu, have got drive-through. And Samba's got to have the safety car restart this light, but it won't count because he will have to pit. And he's going to go. I'll let you cover this one.
Right, we go back racing once again. But for the guys that have got a drive-through, don't box now because it will not count. The Kitu stays out. Samba stays out and Link stays out, so they get through A-OK. But let's keep an eye on Aiden on this opening safety car restart lap. Here we go then. Aiden to the inside. You've also got the Kitu versus Lynx. Aiden to the inside of Matter. Late on the brakes, gets the move done. Lynx battling here with the Kitu. Of course, this will be for track position coming out of the pit lane from that drive-through penalty, and Lynx to the inside through turns 3 and 4, gets the move done, but this could allow Aiden to creep up to the back of him. He's got to make sure he doesn't get a penalty and keeps this one clean, and for Aiden, he is just stalking the back of that Aston Martin. He's like a lion trying to hunt down his prey and be so stealthily to do so. But of course, these two in front will come into the pit lane. So at the moment, he is on the road, on set for third place. Once all the drivers who have a drive-through penalty come into the pit lane. Ben Mills to the inside of J. Cole, but J. Cole fighting back to the inside now as we head into the hairpin. But Ben Mills comes out on top. Lap 29 of 35. We will have 6 laps of racing once we cross the line. Nathan Samba staying out for as long as he possibly can to try extend
everyone else comes
this gap
in
that he has, and Lynx and the Kitu both into the pit lane as well. So it's just Nathan Samba now to try extend that gap to the rest of the field and try get the best position possible come the end of this drive-through penalty that he has got. But this is now Aiden up into 4th place. He needs to keep with Casper and Arnold. The gap between Casper and
let me look at the gap.
Aiden is just under 3 seconds. It's about 2.4 as things stand. So for Aiden, he is still within that penalty range, and now being in clean air as well, he's surely just going to keep chewing into that gap that Casper has. And Aiden certainly looking for another race win this season and to extend that championship lead up at the top. And for Nathan Samba, he might not even score points at this rate because he has to still come out in front of Lynx and the Kitu. We'll have to wait and see, though. Will he come into the pit lane this time around? Of course, it'll be lap 31 or 35 left, 4 laps to go. And yes, he does. Into the pit lane comes Nathan Samba and manages to stop the car this time around.
I felt like it was a bit unfair, to be honest, that they got it. I think it should have been Samba's win today, in my opinion. Samba drove a faultless race so far, and it was cruel that for him to be taken away like that. And it's ridiculous that the bug is still there in the game, where if you don't engage the pit limiter, it gives you a drive-through penalty if you speed under safety car. But, oh no, Arnold's got another penalty, so that's going to drop him down the order. I can't do maths at this point, but Larkin's going to gain massive here. I think Larkin could get on the podium as long as he could stay within reach. This could be absolutely huge. So I think Aiden's within reach of getting a win, and I think Casper will get second, and maybe Larkin will get third. That's my prediction of where the stuff will be. But I just can't call it at this stage. I can't do maths, unfortunately. So if Casper wants to keep this win, he's got to work together with his ERT compatriot Arnold. He's got to make sure that Aiden doesn't have a sniff of these two, as Arnold takes the lead, and I think that's very, very smart for Arnold to be able to do that, because they're DRSing each other, and all this is doing is allowing everyone else without DRS just to pretty much not have the gap that they need to. So I think they're probably in a party together as well. This could be great teamwork for them.
Yeah, it certainly could. As here comes Nathan Samba on Konzo. That's another position in the points gained. He could still certainly be on for maybe even a podium. We said maybe Larkin, but what about Nathan Samba?
Oh yeah, he got
who's
no
only
penalties.
2 cars behind and no penalties. Colin Mason picks up another 3-second time penalty now, so that's him up into 6 seconds. I'll quickly run you through the penalties. 9 for Arnold, 3 for Casper, 6 for Colin, 3 for Mata, 3 for Ben Mills, 9 for George as a yellow flag. That's for Konzo. He spun round. 6 for J. Cole. And then 3 for Konzo. So we could still maybe see Nathan Samba either in that top 5 or on a step on the roster. Ben Mills able to get past his teammate Mata. Heading into the hairpin. Ben Mills will still certainly be able to hopefully stay in championship contention after this one as Nathan Samba round the outside of J. Cole. What a move that was. And now here he comes on Larkin as well. 2 Alpines for the price of 1 here. Down this straight. He got the move done at the hairpin on J. Cole. The exit was crucial to get right. And now he's past Larkin as well. It is now a race. 3 laps to hunt down the rest of the field. Colin Mason gets overtaken there by Ben Mills. And we can now see Nathan Samba unleashed. He has been heavily annoyed by this one, you fear. And now this means he just needs to hunt down at least Arnold to try and get on to the podium places. But we'll have to wait and see. He's gapped to Arnold 8.8 seconds. So he's within range of passing the Aston Martin. It's just about the rest of the field. Can he overtake them and at least maybe get a podium in this one? And I said he could be all doom and gloom for him. And that doesn't really extend Aiden's gap at all, really.
Exactly, and we've got a few more laps to go of this one. Anything can happen. Grab your popcorn, ladies and gentlemen, because this race is not over yet. We could see some team tactics. At the moment, it's going to go the way of this man, Aiden, but we don't know who's going to finish where due to the penalties that are going to be decided. It was a crucial factor in P3. It was a crucial factor in P2. It could be a crucial factor in P1 tier as well. And it's all because of a late safety car. Arnold's doing an amazing job, but it's just a shame that without those penalties, he could have been up there. He's going to drop way down the field. Same with George as well. So I wonder if George and Samba are going to be working together at this point. But I think this is Aiden's to lose. Aiden can't afford to risk it at this point. He's just going to drive conservatively. If he gets a penalty, then that's it. How many warnings has he got? I think he's hardly got any. Aiden's on 2 warnings.
Oh, Aiden still could be in a bit of trouble. All it takes is him picking up that 1 penalty. And then that could certainly see Nathan Samba try and get past him. But I don't think, no, even if he gets that penalty, Nathan won't be able to jump him on the penalty front. So the best Nathan Samba can still get is that 3rd place, which I think he still isn't even getting. So it's going to be 4th. Ben Mills in 3rd. And then we'll see how the rest of the field goes from there. But Nathan Samba now past his teammate George. He's up into 7th place now. He is getting closer and closer. But I just don't think it'll be close enough as we're starting the final lap of proceedings now. This is probably going to be the most uneventful final lap you will ever see around Canada. But also the most eventful at the same time, because it's going to be working out where all the penalties are and where everybody will file out once we cross the line. And will Casper... Hang on, Jess. One thing, I know Casper had that safety car, but did he save enough fuel underneath that?
I will check on the dashboard. I think he's fine, but I will...
Or is he just on the limit?
0.04
or
over.
He's just going to make it with the barest of margins.
And even that, the gap behind is 2.8 anyway. So he's just got to make sure he can stay within range of these guys and he'll be on the podium. But we're about to end this race as Arnold got 9 seconds of penalties. He's going to win on track. What great drive from him today. He can still be on for his best result. As Casper to the inside. Great move from Casper. He's going to win this one. Colin gets the move done on Ben Mills. Casper wins on track, but it is Aiden that's come out of nowhere. He thought his race win was over a moment ago, but the title fight goes to one final race, and Aiden has one hand on the trophy. Casper gets his best result of the season in 2nd. Ben Mills somehow is in 3rd. Ben still in the championship fight. We thought it was over. Sam's in 4th. Arnold in 6th. Matter in 5th. Colin in 7th. And Lynx has dropped down to 11. Quite a few. That's what all the penalties does for you. But Aiden, that just goes to show you do not give up in league racing, because Aiden finished in P1, Samba finished in P4. By the way, Casper ended on 0.07 laps of fuel left. That is great fuel saving, if I do say so myself, but absolutely brilliant. And yeah, Aiden has one hand on the trophy next week.
Yeah, really nicely done there from Aiden to come back in that one. Really good determination from him as well. But yeah, we'll now see what will happen in Abu Dhabi. Of course, that will be a wet and wild one, something that the drivers won't be used to. And it's still, even though Aiden's got one hand on the trophy, it could go anyway away from him at the death, maybe a bit like what we saw. I don't like to bring it up, but still, Abu Dhabi 2021, you could be in the lead and then a mistake happens or something. But we'll have to wait and see, because this is going to be so exciting. Tune in next Sunday, because we are going to have a thrilling title finale
and a sprint race.
And a sprint race as well, at a circuit and weather combo that none of these drivers will be used to at all. So we don't know who's going to win that one. This could maybe see someone like your Larkins, like your Lakitus, maybe even your Blinds come up and
you blind.
Somehow,
oh, nice pun.
maybe somehow rise to the top, be a good wet weather driver, and master Abu Dhabi. We'll have to wait and see. But for Aiden, he's got one hand on the trophy, and that's exactly what he wants and the confidence he needs heading into Abu Dhabi.
What a great race it was. And let's go through your results there. We got Aiden that wins from Casper, from Ben Mills, from Nathan Samba, from Matta. Great result from him. His best result of the season. Arnold, Colin, Larkin, Lakitu, Lynx, Jaco, Georgia top 12. And then the likes of Konzo, Blind and Bryn did not have a good race whatsoever. But we are going to have to pick our driver of the days. I'm going to go first. And this person is usually very annoyed that I never pick him for driver of the day, even though he usually gains quite a few positions in a lot of races. But I'm not going to give it to him because he's gained the most positions, which he didn't. I'm going to have to give it to him because he drove a great race. He only picked up 3 seconds. He made some great moves in the process as well. And it was just generally... And the fuel saving was amazing towards the end of the race. Without that safety car, he would have dropped way down. So I'm going to have to give it to Casper. And my question is, you must have been praying for that safety car. Congratulations on your first podium of the season. Did you think you were going to get that after your fuel penalty situation? And I'm going to hand it over to you to decide the second driver of the day. And what would you like to ask him, Max?
I'm going to give it to Aiden, obviously. It's quite an easy one. And I'm going to ask him, after that first lap, that collision with Ben laps, think a podium was possible, not only a race win. Or were you just praying for a safety car at that point?
Yeah, I think definitely that. I think both of the top two will believe the safety car was in hand, and they drove amazingly. And it just goes to show, don't give up. But let's get the calendar one more time. It has been crazy season so far. We started in Australia on the 21st of January, and then we head to Abu Dhabi next week, 21st of April. Dry sprint race, luckily. So it won't be wet completely. And then it will be heavy wet to dry Abu Dhabi. We never get that. It's a 1% chance. But with the adaptive weather system, we are getting it and we can't wait. I'm dreading it when I'm racing it next week. So I'm going to have to do some practice. But this is what's on the line for the top 3 in the championship. The ones who can still win the championship fight. The likes of Aiden, Samba and Ben Mills. First place gets £50 voucher, PS Ramsden voucher. Second place and third place gets a trophy and free entry to next season. Constructors could also still be on the line. and they can win lots of other stuff too. But before we go, quick word about sponsors. Massive shout out to Next Level Racing, providing some lovely prizes, an NLR FGT and an NLR FGT Lite, and also Wolfstand 2.0. Aztec Sim Sports are providing merch to the winner of 100 Racing Driver Rankings. Pure Sim Gear, they are providing gloves or socks to the winner of the most combined poles and fastest laps. Vespa T supporting our championship apparel. ERT, partner ERT, going to get stuff award and sponsor our league trophies. And SimGrid, partner SimGrid, providing our community and platforms, and they get our lovely standings for us. It's been a good one. And it's going to all end next week. I'm going to ask Max for a prediction. Who's going to win the title next week? Who do you think?
I'm going to have to give it to Aiden. You know, he's already got that advantage, and I think he's a very experienced driver. He will know what he's doing. And yeah, Aiden, I think, is in the best position possible. And if he just drives a clean race, certainly wrap this one up.
I think he has the advantage, but if Samba can do what he did in Baku, where he got the sprint race win and the feature race win, I think Samba's got the title as well. But it could go a different way, and I'm very, very excited. And don't forget, there's people that have yet to take their engine penalties as well. So that's going to prove an interesting situation. But for myself and Max, we'll leave it there. Join us on YouTube at 8 PM UK time to fight the championship decider. Who will win? Will it be Aiden? Will it be Samba? Or will it be Bennett Mills? You'll find out in 7 days' time. We can't wait. We'll see you then. But from all of us here at 100 Racing, make sure you leave us a like and hit the subscribe button. And keep an eye on socials, because the stewards could change all of that. But have a good evening and good night.